Hey, I'm Zach with Colony Roofers. Today, we're gonna look at should you repair or should you replace your roof? There's a few different factors that go into making that decision. Hopefully, what we'll talk about today will help you make a better decision for your specific roof. Let's dive in. So the first thing I'd like to explain is what's the difference between a replacement and a repair. That may seem like common knowledge, but it's important for purposes of this video and the question of whether to repair or replace the roof. What are we talking about when we say repair or replace? So a full replacement is simply pulling off the existing roofing system all the way down to the decking. On a residential house, that would mean typically wood decking. So you have plywood underneath your shingles or whatever metal roof you have on your house right now. Probably even have wood if you have a flat roof area on your house, or if even the whole house is flat roofing material. There still is typically a wood structure underneath that. On a repair, that's going to be hyper localized. So we're going to repair things that we have a leak in a specific spot. If there's pervasive leaking across the entire roof, we probably would start to look at more of a replacement. But the most important thing for this video is just understand that a replacement, we're talking about taking off everything on the building and replacing it with new. Whereas a repair, we're talking about basically spot work on different spots of the roof, or maybe even just one spot on the roof, typically around roof penetrations, which are places that are highly susceptible to leaking as a roof begins to age or has storm damage. So one of the biggest things that's going to determine whether you should repair or replace your roof is going to be the age of the existing system. This probably sounds like common knowledge or common sense, but it's extremely important as an owner of a property. I know roofing can get very expensive. Some of the quotes you may get from contractors if you need help with a leak that's going on can seem very expensive. But you really need to pause and take into account how old is the existing system, because you may be getting to the end of its life, or you may be nowhere near the end of its life, and you may have someone trying to sell you a full replacement when it's really not even necessary. So what's the expected life of a shingle roof? So there's two main types of shingles. This is an overgeneralization. So if you go look at a bunch of manufacturer websites, you'll see varying information. But generally on a residential roof, you're going to have either 3-tab shingles or architectural shingles. The biggest difference between those is going to be how long they're going to last. There's also an aesthetic difference. Check out some of our other videos on the site about 3-tab and architectural shingles if you're curious about specifics related to those types of shingles. But a 3-tab shingle historically has been designed to last anywhere from 15 to 25 years. That time has gotten longer and longer as technology has gotten better. Most of your 3-tab shingles this year will come with a 25-year material warranty from the manufacturer. The other type of shingle is going to be generally architectural. Architectural shingles are designed to last anywhere from 25 to 40 years. So if you have a shingle roof and you're thinking, okay, do I want to repair or do I want to replace this? First, you have to think about, okay, what type of shingles do I have? And then how long are those shingles designed to last? Then we start from there and we make an assessment as to whether it's better to repair or replace. Generally, my recommendation to our clients and customers is, as you get within about 5 years of the end of the expected life of your shingles, it's time to really think hard about replacing the roof instead of repairing it, because at the end of the day, you're pouring money in the last 5 years. If you try to repair it, you're pouring money into a roof that ultimately is going to have to be replaced in the near future anyway. And so it's typically the most wise thing to go ahead and replace the roof in that last 5 years of expected life, so that you're not just wasting money. So the next thing we need to talk about that's going to determine whether you want to repair or replace your roof is what its existing condition is. We talked about expected lives and how long we might expect a roof to last, but there's a number of environmental factors that can kind of change those timelines and make a roof deteriorate on a quicker pace than what you might have expected when it was originally installed. So let's talk about a couple things. Sunlight or shade can be a huge determinant in the existing condition or the deterioration rate in the roofing system you have. If you have substantial tree cover and there's always shade on the roof and it's not allowed to dry out, and when it rains, there's water that sits on it on a flat roofing system, or even on a shingle roof, it's a very humid and moisture rich area that can cause the roof to deteriorate a lot quicker. And that's something to take into account when you're deciding whether to repair or replace it. If you have a roof that has a lot of tree cover and you don't maintain it as well as you might wish, then that's going to be something that's probably going to make it to where you want to think about replacing the roof on the shorter end of that expected life. You're probably not going to get the full longevity out of it that you might expect. The third factor that's going to play into whether to repair or replace the roof is going to be what caused the damage or the issues that you're having with the roof. So let's use a couple examples. Wind damage, for instance, that would come from a storm. One might think, okay, well, wind damage or hail damage, those are both storm damage, so those should be covered by my insurance company and we would just replace the whole roof. Well, not so quickly. So wind damage is something that's typically very hyperlocalized. You may have shingles that blow off. You may have creased shingles, and I'll do a separate video on creased shingles as well. But if you have localized storm damage, so wind damage or a tree fall or something that's specific to that area on the roof, it's actually very possible that that can be repaired. Could still be covered by your insurance company. The repair of that area could be. But then on the flip side, if you had hail damage where there was most likely hail across the entire roof, when hail storms come through, they don't typically pick a specific two-foot spot on your roof. That hail damage should be all across the roof, or at least on a couple of different facets of the roof, maybe the northwest or the southeast. Those sides of the roof are damaged, but nonetheless, that's across the entire roof. And so then all of a sudden you really start to look at replacement because it's just not practical to repair those specific spots. So I hope that was helpful on trying to make a decision whether to repair or replace your roof. Check out our other videos as well for some of your most commonly asked questions related to roofing. We look forward to helping you out with your roofing needs.